Forex Nelson, and I'm back doing another training video for my pip trigger. This is the latest and the newest version of the pip trigger, and this video will be called A Great Way to Trade. I'm going to be showing you many examples, and you're going to see a lot of repetition, and this is what's very important. You have to see it many times, and then finally you'll be able to understand how to trade. Now, when we're doing a great way to trade, we are going to be using the goal line, and the goal line's got to be going down if we're selling and going up if we're buying, and the only AO that we're going to look at will be the one at the top here. Now remember, the highest time frame is this one right here. This is the 4 hours. This one here is the 1 hour. You can see H4, H1, and this is whatever time frame you're on, 15 minutes. And of course we got the green line. We're going to follow the cycles. The best case is for the green line to go up and then start to work its way down. And it's got to be above the midpoint from here to here. So the midpoint, as you can see, midpoint, and it's above. And here is the water line here. So now an ideal situation is goal line is going down, and this has got to be below the water line. Now obviously it's a bonus when you get the 4 hours below and red. This is below, but it's okay to be blue. Remember, if we're selling, it's okay to be blue, but it's got to be below the water line. So this is acceptable. It cannot be blue above the water line. You see this little dotted line here? That's the water line. So now in real time, if this was at the right edge, I would take a quick look at the 30 minutes, and when you see a big move down like that, the 30 minutes, all these bars will be below the water line. Okay. Just to let you know that. But I'm way back in January, so I cannot go down to the 5 minutes. It's too far back. So here's the first one where you can attempt to get in when it hits the goal line. And remember, I'm going to say this at least 100 times throughout these videos. The magic word is a pullback. There's your pullback. When you're selling, it would be blue candles going back to the moving averages. And the golden rule is when it hits the goal line, this one didn't quite hit it, but let's say you were thinking about taking it. Because look at the green line down at the bottom. It's starting to go down. So the most that went against you right there was 4 pips, not a big deal. So you could have taken a trade here. Now this is aggressive, and a conservative trader will be when it goes from blue to red. You got to have both these two indicators down at the bottom. The bulls and the bears and the HA bars have to be red. So right there, this is conservative right here. So conservative and aggressive. And if we do the next one where it turns blue here, then it turns red right there. So aggressive is on the goal line, and then you would take the trade when this candle closed. That's 15 pips, and I like to get in 15 pips quicker, because if you take the trade there, you have to put your stop there, which is 20 pips, which is acceptable. And as you can see, it still went 12 pips against you. So being aggressive, you follow the golden rule, which is take the trade on the goal line. As long as the 4 hours is red, which it is, it's a bonus if it's below the water line, which it is, and then this is below the water line, can be blue. That's not a problem, because this is only the 1 hour. So take the trade here or here with a 10 pip stop, and down at the bottom down there is like 87 pips. So now you might have closed out over here with around close to 30 pips. So, and remember, I tried to take the trade within the first 2 to 3 hours, but if you're taking the trade here, This is already 11:15. London closes right here, by the way. So sometimes you'll get the reversal at the London close, but at this point the market had only moved 20 pips. So if it doesn't move very much, then it'll continue to go with the trend. All of these things you have to learn, because if you don't learn these things, you're going to have a harder time trading. So let's move on to the pound CAD. I'll be showing you lots of buy and sell orders. At the moment, looks like we've got sell orders. So what we're looking for is the 20 to be red, 20 to be below the gold. Remember, a great way to trade is gold line going down, and we're below the water line on this AO, the one at the top here. It's a bonus if the 1 hour, well, it's got to be red, and this is another bonus right here, red. So when it did the pullback, remember the magic word pullback? Golden rule is when it hits the gold line, or as close as possible, with a 10 pip stop, 10 or 12. Remember, these pound pairs, they move a lot. Down to here is almost like 200 pips there. So you're going to get in the trade, and of course you decide. I always decide when I've had enough pips, I close the trade. But definitely when you see both blue over here, you can consider getting out of the trade. Or when you see blue here, so let's see what that would have produced. That's around 160 some pips. So, and the market's not going to go down forever, and that's why I'm a day trader. I like to take my pips and call it a day, because look at all the pips you made here. You're going to give it all back to the market. And this was 267 pips within the blue box, and the blue box is from 6 a.m. until 4 p.m. and this is my warning zone, time to get out of the trade, because I don't want to pay the swap rates. Now remember, if you miss the one near the gold line, all you're looking for is blue candles, means just a bit of a pullback, then you can get in again. You can draw a line in here going across here, for example, similar to this. That's if you want to. When it breaks it, you can get in again. Your stop is the first pivot swing high. That's 23 pips, but I would go with 20, and to the bottom down there is still 143 pips. You can either get in, like I say, when it breaks the trend line or when it breaks the support. This here is your support. Get in here, or here, right here. Okay, let's go on to the Euro New Zealand. Probably break this. There's a lot of pairs here, and I'm also going to show just a couple of futures like gold and the S&P 500. I just want to show you that it works on everything that has a, like candles attached to it. Anything and everything you can trade. So here's another sell example. Remember, the great way to trade is gold line going down, very easy to see, and we are below the water line here. This is what we want, the magic word pullback. Now right in here you might consider it. That is like 13 pip stop. Even if you did take it, you got to put in at least a 20 pip stop, which will hold. To the bottom down there is like 90 pips. If you miss this one, get in like the golden rule at the gold line or as close as possible, but definitely between the 20 and the 50. So anywhere in the middle. Stop is just on the, go straight up, put your stop on the other side of the gold line, 13 pips. To the bottom down there is like almost 100 pips there. So that's pretty good. And everything down at the bottom, we're still below the water line here. When you actually pull the trigger, green line is going down. So as I said, below the water line, it's okay to be blue if we're selling, but it's got to be below the water line, not above the water line. And in here, it's red below the water line. Should be able to see these little dots here. That's the water line. and it's stair stepping down. And of course, aggressive, this will be blue over here. And this is conservative when it turns red, right there. So if you're getting in around here from aggressive, that's 23 pips. So I ask you, do you want to be aggressive like I am? Or you can take the trade conservative and wait till it turns, you're getting red, and everything else is good to go. Remember, that's more than 20 pips difference. So, moving right along to the next pair. Pound Swiss, now we're going to see some buying. Same thing, this is what we're looking for. The 20 above the gold. And of course it's blue. Blue is for buying, red is for selling. That is the theme here. And of course the gold line, which is right there, as you can see, it's going up. Not heavy like this, like very steep, but it is going up. See, it's going up. All we're waiting for, remember the magic word, pull back to the moving averages. And the golden rule is when it hits the gold line, here, here, and here. Take the trade with a 10 pip stop. That's only 5 pips it went against you. And to the top up there is like 76 pips. Now me personally, after it's starting to die out here, and plus I don't want to be trading all day long. This is 40 pips if I do 2 trades. If I can get 60 to 80 pips, I'm happy with that. And at this time here, this is the London close. And sometimes you just never know. It could do a complete reversal. But due to the fact that from there to there is, well, that's 50 pips, but I like to see, you know, ideally, especially on these pound pairs, should be around 100, and then you'll get the pullback. See, 98 pips, and then there's the pullback. Double top, and then a pullback to the goal line. Price all the time always comes back to the goal line. So we got to remember that. And remember, the goal line is the 50 EMA, and it's a custom indicator, by the way. It's not the same as the regular 50 moving average. So moving along to the next pair, which is the pound Aussie. You're going to get a lot of days like this. It's coming from the top or above the goal line. Okay, so the red 20 went below the goal line here. All you're waiting for is the pullback, the magic word pullback, and as close to the goal line as possible. Now if you happen to drop it down around this time or here down to the 5 minutes, more than likely it'll be hitting the goal line. So let's say you get in anywhere in this area. Stop is to the other side of the gold, which is 14-15 pips, and to the bottom down there is 90 pips. Remember, these first 8 pairs will be pumping out the most number of pips, and then I did like 8 more forex pairs, and then I did 2 futures. So let's see now, once you see it hitting a double bottom here and not breaking the bottom, then expect a pullback eventually to the goal line. So if you got in as very low as possible with a 10 pip stop and got out here, that's like 56 pips. So that's what I would label as a pullback going with the trend. As you can see, it continued and even continued to eventually broke the bottom here. Eventually. Okay, pound yen, another one of my favorite ones. Okay, the 20 is not only red, but we're below the goal line. And remember, a great way to trade. All you got to do is look at the goal line going down. Take a look down at the bottom. This first AO is below the water line. And then take a quick look. This is red below the water line. This is red. Stairs stepping down. It's above the water line here, but remember, that's okay, because that's based on the 4 hours. So you got the 4 hours red, the 1 hour looking good, and the 15-minute below the water line. You're going to take the trade as high as possible. So anywhere across here, Stop, anywhere from 10 to 20 pips, that's 19 pips there, to the bottom down there is 100 pips. Now, personally, you could have got out anywhere even in here with 60 pips, and if I can get 50 or 60 pips even on one trade, I'm very, very happy with that. Okay, let's move on to the next pair, the pound New Zealand. Here's another buy example. The 20 is above the gold. It's okay if it flickers red here, that's not a big deal. First thing I'm looking at is the gold line, which is going up. We are above the water line here. This 4 hours is blue below the water line, which is good. It's got to be blue. This one can be red. It's just giving a signal that it's doing this pullback. That's why it flickered red. But we're above the water line. So red above the water line is good. But red on the 4 hours below the water line is not good. So follow the green line down, stabilize right in this area, right in here. And as soon as you start to see blue candles, this one and this one, you can get in right on the, or this one, right on the gold line with a 8 or 9 or 10 pip stop, and to the top up there is 109 pips. So wherever you want to get out. But these workhorses, the first 8 pairs, look at the ADR in the pound New Zealand's 211 pips. And actually today, which is today's day would have been like Friday the 20th, September the 20th. But today's date is September the 22nd, which is a Sunday, as I'm doing these videos back in time. Okay, now let's move on to the next pair, which is the Euro-CAD. It's another sell pair. This is when you come to the computer, like me personally myself, 6 a.m. in the morning. When I see this, all I'm waiting for is the pullback, the magic word, pullback. Can even go down to the 5 minutes, and this wick and these 3 candles will be higher than the 20. It'll be up around this area. So you're going to get in either here, 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 here. Stop is about 10 pips, and down there is more than 70 pips. So remember, great way to trade is gold line going down, and on this AO here, remember it's always the one at the top, you got to be below the water line. Now as you're taking the trade, take a look at the other 2 AOs. The Awesome Oscillator is red and below the water line, and this one is red, which is good, even though it's above the water line. Remember, it cannot be blue. So we've got the 2 higher time frames. So you've got the 1 hour and the 4 hours telling you to sell. Now keep in mind that if you want to trade from the 30 minutes or the 1 hour, then that means this AO right here, you're just going to click right here, very simple, and press the reset button. Changes this number to the daily time frame, press OK. This one will be the daily, and you're going to change this one to 4 hours. Or if you don't want to change both of them, not a big deal. But I like to work this, the highest time frame for me, I like to be on the bottom. So I would change this one to the daily and change the 1 hour to the 4 hours. But if you're a little bit lazy, you can just click here and change, just click reset here. Just press OK, and then this one will go to the daily time frame. And so gone are the days where you actually have to drill down the lights. Now you would only go to the daily if you are trading 30 minutes or off of the 1 hour. And at any point at all, sometimes I'll just take a quick look at the daily. Is another tip for you, just to take a quick look at the daily. All you got to do is click on daily and then look at this one, the one at the top. It'll show you the daily. So if I was to click on the daily, I don't want to do it right now because we're back in time. So if I clicked on the daily, this top one would be daily, this one would be 1 hour, and this AO would be 4 hours. So you would have 4 hours, 1 hour, and daily. And then you can see where you are, above or below, or is it blue, is it red, from the daily. And remember, if the daily is also red, right around this area, doesn't make any difference above or below the water line, but it's got to, it's got to be red, or at least below the water line. And then this is even a little bit higher percentage for it to actually go down. Okay, we're at the 20 minutes, and I'm just guessing, halfway through. So let's do this into 2 videos of how a great way to trade. Video number 1, and we will continue with the Aussie yen here. So we'll put it to the Aussie yen, and we'll start the next video here.